I'm outraged, I'm sickened, and I'm saddened by the way Shedeur continues to be treated in the National Football League. Now by those sorry-ass Browns and sorry-ass Kevin Stefanski.
When they're at practice, Shedeur Sanders is not their priority. When he is at practice, he was staying hours beforehand, leaving hours later.
I understand in a situation like that, when it comes to the 3s and 4s that you're playing with that aren't going to be on the squad and not going to make the team, give your quarterback a chance. Okay, you know what? You know they can't hold up that long? Let's play quick game. Let's play quick game just to get Shedeur in the goddamn rhythm. But no, you come out, call the regular offensive plays.
Last night, Shedeur Sanders was thrown into the game just to be embarrassed. This wasn't some accident. Everything showed it was a planned setup. From the second he hit the field, it was obvious it was him against the entire system. The Browns coaching staff wanted to kill his momentum and bury his hype for good. But the plan blew up in their face. Now reporters and analysts are circling, ready to call out Kevin Stefanski and the Browns front office for deliberately trying to sabotage Shedeur in the preseason.
I'm going to answer this question by saying Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to tell you why. I think he's being set up to fail.
First up was Stephen A. Smith, who had been calling out this entire preseason setup from the very start. He predicted that from the first snap to the last, everything was planned to make Shedeur Sanders look bad. He even said that Shedeur starting the opening preseason game was, in his words, nothing more than a setup for his failure. Smith was convinced the Browns' mission was to tear Shedeur down, pushing the idea that he was only a fifth-round QB, proving his doubters right. That might have sounded true before the preseason, and some believe the plan was fixed from the beginning, but it didn't stop there. Now the heat is on Kevin Stefanski, with people blaming him for throwing Shedeur into a system he'd never played in just to make him fail. Garrett Bush even called it out, pointing out that no matter how hard Shedeur worked, before or after practice, he was never a real priority in their plans.
When they're at practice, Shedeur Sanders is not their priority. When he is at practice, he was staying hours beforehand, leaving hours later.
Kevin Stefanski, however, doubled down, claiming his players were doing fine and putting all the blame on Shedeur for the mistakes. When reporters asked about Shedeur being stuck all week practicing with third and fourth string players and if that had something to do with his struggles, Stefanski refused to admit it. Instead of accepting that Shedeur might have been sharper if he had real reps with the starters, Stefanski brushed it off. He just said that as a coach, his job was to develop rookies. But is that really how you handle a top prospect? Keeping him away from first-team reps, then throwing him into a game expecting him to run plays he's never even had a chance to practice.
I think with all of our players, Mary Kay, there's things that we can do better, and there's some good moments out there, but that's what our job as coaches, to develop.
Skip Bayless also weighed in on the mess, ripping the Browns for how they've treated Shedeur Sanders and calling it the worst way possible to handle him. He pointed out that this looked like part of a disturbing pattern, with Shedeur constantly being mishandled by Kevin Stefanski and the Browns. Skip said this wasn't just a one-time slip-up. It was obvious that Shedeur wasn't getting the opportunities or support he deserved. The Browns' treatment of him has only piled on more pressure, making it even harder for him to succeed.
I'm outraged, I'm sickened, and I'm saddened by the way Shedeur continues to be treated in the National Football League. Now by those sorry-ass Browns and sorry-ass Kevin Stefanski.
Ocho Cinco also spoke out, blasting the Browns for putting Shedeur Sanders in a lineup full of offensive players who weren't even going to make the roster, saying Kevin Stefanski basically set him up to fail. He argued that even if it had been Tom Brady in that same spot, the result would have been no different. Surrounded by those players, Shedeur was guaranteed to struggle. Analysts backed him up, placing the blame squarely on the coaching staff for refusing to give Shedeur a fair shot. Ocho even predicted that the haters would soon label Shedeur Sanders a bust, calling him nothing more than a fifth-string quarterback. But he reminded everyone that no one would talk about the real problem, who set Shedeur up in the first place. Even with all the criticism flying, Ocho made it clear this is part of a larger agenda to drag him down. No matter what happens, it's clear some people are more interested in destroying him than actually being honest about why his performance looked the way it did.
You just beat the guy. And that's okay. You get paid, he gets paid. Sometimes Ocho just gonna win because Ocho was just the better player. Sometimes the defensive back is gonna win. He wins some, you win more than you lose.
Despite everything that happened, Shedeur Sanders never said a word of criticism toward his coach or anyone else. Instead, he took full responsibility for his performance and concentrated on what he could control. Shedeur admitted that there were many areas where he needed to improve and emphasized his commitment to putting in the effort to get better. His focus was on growth, learning from the experience, and refusing to let the setback define him. Like a seasoned pro, Shedeur Sanders fully owned up to his mistakes, recognizing that he could have kept his eyes in better positions during those runs and made smarter choices to keep the offense moving. He didn't dodge the blame, taking responsibility for every sack, acknowledging that they were all on him. His response was mature and self-aware, demonstrating his understanding of the game and his readiness to learn from the experience.
I gotta watch the film, honestly. I can't say what it was. It's definitely different places where I could got my eyes in better spots and got to the progressions quicker and regardless of anything, so all those sacks, they definitely on me.
They're definitely on me. But how long can Shedeur Sanders keep carrying all the blame alone? How long will he have to wait for these biased decision makers to finally step up or at least give him a fair chance? It's becoming clear that many inside the NFL see this as part of a deliberate setup. Shedeur made it through the first round, but he's still trapped in the system. The bigger question is, when will the league stop treating him unfairly and actually give him a real shot? In the end, the way Shedeur Sanders has been treated sparks serious questions about fairness, opportunity, and bias in the NFL. Even with all the roadblocks in front of him, Shedeur has handled it with maturity and laser focus. He took full accountability for his performance, admitted where he needed to improve, and stayed locked in on growth. But the real issue isn't his play, it's the system that keeps dragging him back. Shedeur's struggles expose a disturbing trend of tearing down young players, especially those who don't fit the NFL's safe narrative. The Browns throwing him into situations set up for failure shows there's something much deeper going on. His story is bigger than just one QB's fight. It represents countless athletes dealing with the same politics and bias holding them down. As analysts and commentators call out this mistreatment, it's clear the Shedeur Sanders conversation isn't just about football. It's about breaking down a broken system and giving players the fair shot they deserve. Shedeur's resilience is inspiring, but the real question remains. When will the system finally change? And when will players like him get the chance to thrive? We'd love to hear from you. Do you think Shedeur Sanders is being treated fairly? Or is there a much bigger problem at play? How long should athletes like him be forced to take the blame for a setup they never asked for? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to know what you think. Let's get this debate started. The way Shedeur Sanders has been treated isn't just a football story. It's a fight against bias, politics, and a system that seems determined to hold him back. Fans are divided, analysts are speaking out, and the pressure is only building. One thing is certain. This controversy is far from over. Subscribe to our channel for the latest updates, exclusive insights, and full coverage of the story as it unfolds.